Discovering the incredible truth, Waitress exposes life-changing photo of her mom to Billionaire. The rain fell heavily on the small Midwestern town, washing the streets clean, but it did little to soothe Emma's restless heart. As she flipped pancakes and poured coffee at Lou's diner, a familiar ache stirred within her, the kind that tugged at memories of her mother, the woman who had vanished long ago, leaving only whispers of a once bright artist. That rainy Tuesday morning, the bell above the door jingled, and in walked Jack, looking like he'd stepped out of a Wall Street boardroom, all sharp angles and polished shoes, searching for shelter from high finance's storm. Emma noticed the way he looked around, taking in the faded chairs, the mismatched curtains, and the worn-out booths filled with the chatter of regulars. She handed him a menu that he scanned but didn't really need. He was hunting for something more than just breakfast, something he hadn't known he was missing until he walked into this cozy little diner. Soon, amidst the steam rising from her frying pan, their conversation began to flow, a mix of small talk and wandering glances. Emma felt a flutter as Jack's eyes caught the photograph pinned above the cash register. It was a faded image of her mother, vibrant and alive, paint splattered on her apron, a palette clutched in her hands during a time when the world seemed full of promise. Emma's heart raced. "That's my mom," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. This was the first time in years she had shared that part of herself with a stranger. Jack leaned closer, his eyebrow raised in curiosity. She was quite a talent. It was a simple statement, but for Emma, it felt like a lifeline thrown in turbulent waters. As she handed the photograph over, a lump formed in her throat. Was she really ready to share her family's past with someone so unrelated to her world? This stranger, Jack, was unearthing memories she had buried deep. She spoke about her mother's art, her dreams, and the void left behind. Emma watched Jack's expression shift, as if he realized she wasn't just a waitress, she was also a woman with hopes and heartaches, tangled in a legacy that threatened to overshadow her own journey. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Then came the twist. Jack revealed that his family was deeply connected to the art world. The photograph stirred something in him. What if I could help you? Find out more about your mom's story? Emma's heart raced with both hope and clouded doubt. Pursue her dreams or dig up old secrets? Could she handle both? Whispers of her mother's past began to flood the diner, igniting debates among the regulars who chatted over diners and coffee mugs. Emma stood at a crossroads. The photo, her mother's legacy, could either expose the family secrets that hung heavy in the air or paint her story anew. Suddenly, it felt as if time had stopped. Could this be the opening she'd been yearning for? As the rain poured harder outside, Emma realized that she might possess the strength to bridge the gap between her mother's shadow and her own bright future. But would she dare to uncover the truth? The weight in her chest told her the answer was just out of reach, lingering, waiting to be discovered. The rain continued its relentless drum on the diner roof, each drop a reminder of the decisions hanging in the air. Emma felt like she was on the edge of something profound, but fear seeped in. What if digging into her mother's past opened old wounds that could never heal? "Are you okay?" Jack's voice cut through her thoughts. His concern was genuine, a warmth that wrapped around her like a cozy blanket. "Yeah, I didn't expect today to go like this." Emma picked at a frayed edge of the tablecloth, feeling the texture beneath her fingers as if grounding herself. Jack leaned back, his gaze steady on her. "Sometimes the unexpected is where the magic happens." "What do you really want, Emma?" The question hung between them like the steam rising from her coffee cup. What did she want? To find her mother? To finally understand what happened? But this was a road lined with uncertainties. "I want to discover who my mom was beyond this photo," she admitted, the words spilling out and surprising even herself. But I'm terrified of what I might find. Jack didn't flinch at her vulnerability. Instead, he nodded thoughtfully. Fear is a part of the journey. What if it leads you to something beautiful? What if you find answers that change everything? Emma considered his words. There was a glint of possibility in his eyes, a spark that ignited the flicker of hope within her. She wanted to believe that. Okay, she finally said, her heart racing with the weight of her decision. If you can help me, I want to know more about my mom. I want to uncover her story. Jack smiled, and it felt like sunshine breaking through the storm. Let us start by finding out where she showed her art. Connections can lead to more connections. As they talked through a plan, there was a palpable shift in the diner, as if the other patrons sensed a change in the air. Conversations hushed, glances were exchanged, and Emma felt the prying eyes of the regulars. They weren't just diners anymore, they were witnesses to a moment she could barely grasp herself. In that swirling cloud of uncertainty, Emma felt a clear purpose crystallizing. The rain persisted, but within her heart, the storm was calming. She could feel the breath of hope, reminding her there might be light at the end of this dark tunnel. I'll get the photograph back from you later, she said, her fingers reluctantly leaving the edge of the table. It's my connection to her. Jack nodded, and Emma felt a sense of camaraderie form between them, two souls stepping into the unknown together. Later that evening, as she closed the diner and the last of the rain ceased, Emma's thoughts raced. Thoughts of her mother's legacy and the memories that were about to unfold filled her. She could hear Jack's voice in her mind, encouraging her to seek the truth, but just as she felt the weight of courage building inside her, her phone buzzed. A text notification lit up the screen. Emma, we need to talk about your mother's past. I found something. Her breath caught. She knew she had just taken a leap forward, but now it seemed the deeper plunge had already begun. What had Jack uncovered? Shivers of anticipation coursed through her. Was she ready to uncover whatever lay beneath the surface? With a deep breath, she prepared herself for whatever was next, understanding that the truth could either shatter her world or make it whole again. She picked up the phone, feeling the weight of possibility heavy in her hand. What had Jack discovered that could change everything? Emma's heart raced as she stared at the screen. Jack's words loomed large, their weight pressing against her chest like a stone. She couldn't shake the feeling that whatever he had found was more than just a simple detail. A chill crept down her spine as she imagined the possibilities, the secrets, the lies, maybe even the love her mother had hidden. With trembling hands, she replied, "What did you find?" Moments felt like hours as she awaited his response. The diner was empty now, save for the faint hum of a flickering neon sign outside. Shadows danced along the walls, reminding her of the uncertainties she faced. Just as she started to doubt if she'd ever hear back, her phone buzzed again. "Meet me at the old art gallery. I'll explain everything. Trust me." Trust. The word sparked a mix of optimism and dread. She wanted to trust Jack, but could she truly believe that he had her best interests at heart? After all, she was delving into a past that had been carefully kept from her, and now it felt like it was about to all come crashing down. The gallery was only a short drive away. With a quick glance toward the rain-soaked street, Emma shoved her phone into her pocket and grabbed her jacket. The air outside felt electric, charged with a sense of impending revelation. As she approached the gallery, the looming structure seemed to whisper secrets she was yet to uncover. She took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The scent of varnish and old canvases greeted her, mingling with the musty air of history. "Emma!" Jack called out, waving from the back of the room. His face was animated, blue eyes sparkling with excitement and a hint of urgency. "What is going on?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I found something in a box of her old things. It changes everything." He motioned for her to come closer and pulled out a tattered envelope from his bag. She felt a surge of adrenaline as he handed it over. The envelope was old, yellowed with age and sealed with a fragile piece of wax. It had her mother's name scrawled across the front in elegant cursive. "Open it," he urged, his eyes fixed on her. With hesitant fingers, Emma slid her nail under the flap and peeled it open. Inside, she found a handful of photographs and a letter. Each image depicted her mother, vibrant and alive, surrounded by friends in what looked like art exhibitions and lively gatherings. Emma's heart raced as she recognized places from her childhood, echoing memories she had long forgotten, but it was the letter that drew her in. She unfolded the delicate paper, its edges curling slightly, revealing her mother's elegant handwriting. "Dear Emma, if you're reading this, it means you've started to uncover my past. I've hidden things from you, not because I wanted to, but because I loved you too much. There are pieces of my life that were messy, complicated, but this is where you truly belong." Tears stung her eyes as she read the words. All her life, Emma had pondered who her mother was beyond the image of the woman in the photograph, and now, like a puzzle, the pieces were beginning to fit together. "What does it say?" Jack asked, leaning closer, his presence both grounding and overwhelming. It's a letter to me," Emma murmured, her voice breaking. She hides so much. Before she could fully process the significance of what she held, her phone buzzed again. A different number flashed on the screen. The message sent a jolt of fear through her. "I know what you're doing. Stop now, or else." Emma's heart sank. She exchanged a look with Jack, fear rippling through her. This was about to become a lot more complicated than she had ever imagined. What had she stumbled into? And who was watching from the shadows? Emma's hand shook as she stared at her phone, the ominous message glaring back at her. "Stop now, or else." It felt like a dark cloud descended over her, threatening to swallow her whole. "What does it say?" Jack pressed, his voice tight with concern. "Someone knows. They're threatening me to stop." She couldn't finish the sentence. Her mind raced, merging the unease from the message with the revelations about her mother's past. Jack's expression turned serious. "We can't leave until you know the truth. Whatever it takes, we'll figure this out together." His resolve cut through the fog surrounding her, but doubt still festered in her stomach. Could she trust him? "Okay," Emma said reluctantly, trying to steady her breath. She looked down at the letter, absorbing her mother's words once again. "But, if we're doing this, I need to know everything. No more secrets." Jack nodded, determination set in his stance. "Let us go through these pictures first. They might give us some clues." They spread the photographs across a nearby dusty table, faces frozen in laughter, art framed behind them. As Emma's fingers brushed over the glossy finish, she felt a twinge of familiarity mixed with a stranger's presence. "Here," she said, pointing to a photo that caught her eye. She recognized a young woman with wild, curly hair, painted in vibrant colors, her smile genuine. "That's my mom, but who's that man next to her?" Jack leaned closer, scanning the photo. "He looks important. Maybe he's someone who was part of her life, someone she wanted to keep secret." The memory of the threat loomed large in Emma's mind. Did this man know about her? Was he part of the threat now looming over her? "Should I try to dig deeper?" she asked, half hoping Jack would say no, half hoping he would say yes. "I think we have to. We can't back down now," he replied, eyes narrowing with resolve. Just then, as if the universe was echoing her unease, a loud crash came from the back of the gallery. Shock rattled through her bones, and she shot a glance at Jack, who was already moving towards the noise. "Stay here," he said, but she followed him anyway, driven by an instinct to stick together. As they turned the corner, they found a tall figure wearing a dark hoodie, shuffling through boxes. He froze, sensing their presence, then darted for the exit, leaving a chilling silence behind. "Who was that?" Emma breathed, fear pulsing through her veins. "I don't know, but we can't let him get away," Jack said, sprinting after him. The chase led them through the dimly lit hallways of the gallery, the shadows elongating as they ran. Emma felt the heat of adrenaline surge through her. Thoughts of her mother's secrets collided with the fear of the unknown. "Why were you looking through those boxes?" Jack yelled, hoping to stop the figure. The man glanced back, his eyes wide with panic. "You don't know what you're meddling with," he shouted before disappearing out of sight. Emma skidded to a halt, chest heaving as Jack turned to her. "Did you hear that? What are we getting into?" Emma felt the weight of everything crashing down. She had opened a doorway to her mother's hidden life, and now the danger was spilling into her own. But she had to know. What had her mother been tangled up in? And how deep did the secrets run? The implications of the man's warning settled heavy in the pit of her stomach. Whatever she uncovered, it was going to change everything. Emma's heart raced, the pounding echoing in her ears as she tried to catch her breath. Jack, still panting, glanced at her with a mix of urgency and concern. "We can't just stand here," he said, his voice whispered but insistent. "We have to find out who that was." Emma nodded, determination replacing her fear. They needed answers, not just for her, but also for the shadow of a life her mother had led. She pulled herself together, her mind racing through the possibilities. "Let us check those boxes he was going through," she suggested. "There might be something in there." Jack hesitated for just a moment, a storm of emotions racing across his face. But then he nodded, and together they moved toward the area where the figure had vanished. The boxes were stacked haphazardly, a chaotic collection of forgotten memories and lost artifacts. Emma pulled one down, its weight heavy in her hands. The dust danced in the dim light as she lifted the lid. Inside were old letters, some yellowed and crinkled, and objects wrapped in newspaper. Emma gingerly picked up an old locket that gleamed even under the grime. When she opened it, her breath caught in her throat. Inside was a tiny photo of a baby with a striking resemblance to her mother. Her heart dropped as she recognized the beautiful woman from the gallery photo smiling next to the baby. "Jack, look at this," she said, passing it to him. "Wow," he breathed, staring intently at the locket. "Is this?" "Yes, that's my mom. But it's so confusing who's the baby? I've never seen this picture before." Jack changed the subject slightly, glancing around. "We need to hurry. That guy might come back." Emma nodded, feeling the weight of secrets pressing in on her. They continued to sift through the boxes, pulling out more letters and photos. Each find felt like a thread unspooling a tapestry of her mother's life, a life intertwined with mystery, and now potentially danger. One letter caught Emma's eye, the handwriting was familiar. Her stomach twisted as she recognized her mother's cursive. She opened it, reading her mother's words that swirled like whispers. "If you find this, it means I'm far away from here, and I'm terrified for you." A chill ran down Emma's spine. The words screamed alarms in her mind. What was her mother afraid of? "Emma?" Jack's gentle voice pulled her from the letter's grasp. "We need to stay focused. Do you think this guy was part of whatever your mom was afraid of?" "I don't know," she said, uncertainty flooding her. "But if he knew about me, it means the threats are very real." Feeling suddenly exposed, Emma turned and looked back down the dim hallway, half expecting to see the figure lurking there. She needed the answers even more now. What was her mother running from? And how were they connected to this man in the hoodie? "Let us go back to the photos," Jack suggested, his voice steadying her nerves. "There's got to be something there." Just as they turned, they heard footsteps approaching rapidly. Emma's heart sank as she recognized the rhythm, too hurried, too frantic. "Jack! We have to hide." With instinct guiding her, she pulled him behind a tall stack of boxes, their fists clenched tight. "What's happening?" Jack whispered, his breath a soft rush of panic. "Listen." Emma closed her eyes to focus. A voice emerged, familiar yet chilling, creeping into her thoughts. It's just a matter of time. Emma exchanged wide-eyed glances with Jack, fear gripping them both. Who was out there? How much did they know? And why did it all feel like it was about to unravel? Emma held her breath, every muscle tense as she strained to listen. The footsteps drew closer, echoing in the silence like a ticking clock. She could see Jack's eyes darting around, fear etched in his expression. "Stay quiet," she urged in a whisper, feeling a sinking knot in her stomach. The unmistakable sounds of a figure rummaging nearby sent her heart into overdrive. "Do you think it's him?" Jack breathed, eyes wide as he forced himself to remain still, muscles coiled like springs. I think it's someone else," Emma whispered back. "But we can't take chances." The sound of paper rustling and boxes shifting filled the space. Emma strained to glimpse the source of the commotion but only caught a fleeting shadow across the dim light. Then, like a thunderclap, the figure spoke. "Where is it? It has to be here." The voice was low and gravelly, a dagger of tension stabbed through the air. Emma's heart pounded violently as she recognized the urgency in his tone. He seemed desperate, searching for something important and possibly dangerous. Jack's grip tightened on her hand. "What do we do?" Emma recalled her mother's words, the chilling warning echoed in her mind, "I'm terrified for you, stay calm." "We have to wait until he's gone," she whispered, sweat trickling down her back. They couldn't afford to make a noise, to be discovered. Minutes felt like hours as they remained tucked behind the boxes, their hearts racing in synchronization. She could barely breathe, her focus narrowing on the intruder's voice, still rising and falling like a tide of panic. Finally, the figure spoke again, frustration creeping into his voice. "Damn it, where is it?" "It was right here." Emma could picture him, comically unaware of the two people directly in his line of sight. What did he seek? A piece of her mother's life? Was he connected to her mother's fears? The questions spiraled inside her mind like a whirlwind. A loud crash erupted from the other side of the room and the figure swore. She held Jack's palm tighter, her eyes darting to meet his. "Now," she mouthed. If they were ever to find out what was happening, they had to take the risk. As one, they slipped from their hiding place, moving with a calculated stealth. Emma's heart raced, but instinct drove her. They weaved through obstacles, desperate to find a vantage point. Slowly, they crept toward the source of the voice. Peeking around the edge of a tall stack of crates, Emma's breath caught. The man, still cursing softly, was now sifting through a pile of documents scattered on the ground. His face was half shrouded in shadows, but she could see his eyes dark and frantic, like storm clouds ready to burst. Suddenly, he froze. Emma's heart leaped into her throat. Had he noticed their movement? Just then, he turned his head slightly, and through the faint light, she caught a glimmer of metal in his hand, a photo, a framed picture. "Damn it, I know it's here," he muttered, shaking his head in frustration. Emma leaned closer, desperate for a glimpse. What if it was another piece of her mom's story? Jack, sensing her tension, placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. "Emma, what if we distract him?" "Distract him?" She whispered back incredulously. "We could make a noise, throw something," he suggested, glancing around for any viable option. "No," Emma said firmly, shaking her head. "We need to see what he's looking for first. If we blow this, we could lose everything." At that moment, the figure turned abruptly, and their eyes locked. Emma inhaled sharply, panic rippling through her. "Who's there?" he growled, his voice low like a growl. In that instant, Emma realized they were cornered. What would they do now? Would they confront him, risk everything, or wait and see what unfolded? As his gaze bore into her, questions burned in her mind. Who was this man? And what truth did he hold that could change everything? Emma's heart raced, each beat pounding against her chest like an urgent drum. She felt the weight of the stranger's gaze, a palpable force laced with intensity and raw desperation. She couldn't let fear win, there was too much at stake. "Please," he hissed, a veil of frustration tightening his voice. "I know someone is here. Just show yourself. I won't hurt you." Jack, his eyes wide and apprehensive, shifted beside her. "What do we do?" he whispered, his voice barely above a breath. Emma hesitated, weighing their options. Part of her wanted to bolt from the shadows, to confront the man and demand to know what he wanted. But another part, the part that remembered her mother's warnings, urged caution. What if he was indeed dangerous? What if the truth they were so desperate for came at a price they couldn't afford? I think he's looking for something important," Emma finally replied, her mind racing with possibilities. The man's shoulders sagged, his frustration boiling over into helplessness. "I had it. I swear I had it." He ran a hand through his hair, the tension flickering across his face. "It's too important to lose. You don't understand." Emma's breath hitched. What if whatever he sought was tied to her mother's life, a secret she never knew? A confession left unspoken that could change Emma's understanding of who she was and where she came from. "Emma," Jack said again, his voice breaking the silence. With resolve, Emma took a small step forward, still hidden but now closer to the figure's trembling frame. "What are you looking for?" Her voice was barely above a whisper, but it cut through the air, capturing the man's attention that he spun toward the sound, eyes narrowing in suspicion. "Who are you?" The hardness in his expression softened just a bit, revealing something softer underneath. "Please, just tell me you haven't found it." "Found what?" Emma pressed, curiosity clawing at her. He hesitated, the tension hanging heavy between them. A photograph of someone who used to mean a lot to me, someone I thought I lost forever." Though Emma's heart raced, a flicker of hope ignited in her. "You're looking for your mother?" she asked, the words tumbling out before she could catch them. His eyes widened, disbelief flaring. "No, not my mother." "Your mother." "What?" Emma felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "Your mother," he repeated, urgency surging through his voice. "She was involved in something serious, but she vanished with it. You have to help me find that photo, everything depends on it." Her mind raced, arching on the cusp of understanding. Could her mother have been tied to someone like him, entangled in a life Emma had never imagined? Jack's hand tightened on her shoulder, grounding her as she grappled with the truth unfolding before her. "Emma, do you trust him?" In this moment, faced with a chance to uncover the secrets of her mother's life, her heart swelled with possibilities. "I don't know," she confessed, but determination surged through her veins. "But we have to find that photo." She felt the man's eyes bore into her, reading her resolve. "Will you help me?" He extended a hand, desperation mixed with a flicker of hope. Emma nodded, her breath catching. "Let us find it together." Just as they set off to search, a loud crashing sound echoed from the back of the room, shattering the fragile moment they had created. The tension in the air thickened again, as all three jumped at the sudden noise. "What was that?" Jack whispered, eyes darting. "Something or someone else is here," the man said, voice becoming low again. Panic crept back, and Emma's heart raced once more. What if they weren't alone? They had lit a fuse now, and Emma could feel the danger closing in around them. Would they uncover the truth behind the photo and the connection to her mother, or would they be interrupted by whatever lurked in the shadows? The mystery was only deepening, and she braced herself for whatever came next. The noise echoed again, louder this time, rattling the old walls. Emma's breath caught as she turned to Jack, who wore an expression of worry mixed with awe. Whatever was behind them, it felt menacing, like a predator lurking in the shadows. "Stay close," she whispered, clutching Jack's arm tighter. The man with the desperate eyes took a cautious step toward the noise, every muscle in his body tense. He looked like he might bolt at any moment, but the urgency was etched onto his face. He couldn't abandon the search. Look, Emma said, trying to keep her voice steady. We can't focus on what's making that noise right now. Let us find the photo. It has to be here somewhere. Just as she spoke, a shadow moved across the hallway, and her heart plummeted into her stomach. What was that? She breathed, her mind racing with images of intruders or worse. I don't know, the man stammered, his eyes darting around the room. He seemed less composed now, fraying at the edges of his desperation. Emma felt the fear dilute her resolve, but she swallowed hard. We don't have time to panic. We need to search this place. If there's a photo of my mom connected to whatever you're wrapped up in, it could change everything. Right, Jack said, voice shaking as he backed away slightly, instinctively placing himself between Emma and the unseen threat. Let us just be quick. They all moved toward the shelves that lined the dimly lit room, cluttered with dust and forgotten memories. Small cardboard boxes stacked haphazardly caught Emma's eye. She knelt, rummaging through one of them, fingers trembling slightly. She could feel all their hopes hanging in the air, the weight of the moment pressing down. Here! She exclaimed suddenly, her fingers brushing against a weathered envelope. This might be it. The man stepped closer, eyes widening. That looks promising. Emma's heart raced as she tore it open, revealing an old photograph. It was blurry but recognizable, a woman standing in front of a blooming garden, a joyful smile on her face. It was her mother's smile, warm and inviting, unlike anything Emma had seen since she vanished. Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes as a wave of emotion washed over her. That's her, the man said, his voice cracking. That's your mother. But before she could process the impact, a loud crash came from behind them, someone stumbling in from the hall, rough boots hitting the ground, chaos infiltrating the fragile moment. Heart pounding, Emma gripped the photo tightly. She turned to see a tall figure silhouetted against the moonlight that streamed in through the window, a shadow of authority that seemed to stretch ominously toward them. Who are you? What are you doing here? The figure demanded, voice sharp and commanding. Emma's breath caught in her throat, fear knotted tightly in her stomach. Was this the danger they had sensed? The urgency in the man's voice from before echoed back to her, everything depended on this moment. Run! She shouted, adrenaline coursing through her. But before they could take off, the figure stepped forward, and Emma's heart sank as she recognized the sharp features, the familiarly piercing eyes. Emma, it's time we talk. Her mother's voice rang out in disbelief, confusion spiraled through Emma's mind. No, you can't be. The man beside her gasped. You're alive? Emma stared, gripping the photograph like it was a lifeline. She had wanted answers, but she never expected them to come so abruptly, so shockingly. Her mother's reappearance sent shockwaves of confusion and raw emotion tumbling like stones in a river. Mom? Emma said, her voice barely above a whisper. The revelation hung in the air, thick with uncertainty, and Emma felt the world around her blur as she tried to grasp the reality standing just a few feet away. What had her mother been involved in all this time? The pull of the truth was at hand, but fear bubbled in her chest. Emma had to know, what had her mother been hiding all these years? As silence hung heavily around them, she realized she stood at a crossroads. Would she take the chance to uncover everything, or would fear again hold her back? Before she could voice her thoughts, heavy footsteps were heard approaching, closing in on the moment. The danger had not passed, it was only just beginning. Emma, her mother's voice was like a soft whisper against the chaos. You shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be here? Emma repeated, shock coating her words like thick paint. You disappeared. You just vanished. And now, after all this time, you show up here? What is going on? Jack shot Emma a worried glance. His hand trembled slightly, but he stayed put. The man with desperate eyes remained silent, as if caught between disbelief and fear. Listen, her mother said quickly, stepping forward into the moonlight. Her features were marked with age, but her eyes still burned fiercely with resolve. I don't have much time. They're coming. Emma's heart raced at the urgency in her mother's tone. Who's coming? What's happening? Not now, Em. Just know that what I've been involved in is more than you can imagine. Her mother's gaze darted towards the hallway, and the tension thickened in the air. More than I can imagine? Emma scoffed, anger bubbling up inside her. You disappeared for over a decade and you expect me to just accept that? You left me. You left me and Dad without a word. I thought I was protecting you. Her mother shot back, the fire in her voice matching the intensity of Emma's. I was caught up in something dangerous. You don't understand. A clang echoed from the hallway, piercing through their heated exchange. The sound of footsteps grew closer, more insistent. Jack glanced toward the only exit, dread crossing his face. We can't stay here, he urged, his voice low but firm. The man took a step back, searching for an escape route. I can't go back to where I came from. They're looking for me too. Mom, who are they? Emma was desperate now, craving the clarity that had long been denied her. This moment felt both electrifying and terrifying, like standing on the edge of an abyss. People who won't stop until they get what they want, what they think belongs to them. Her mother's voice quivered slightly. But you can't get caught in this, Emma. You have to promise me I won't promise anything. Emma's frustration bubbled over. You think you can just waltz back into my life and expect me to another crash, this time louder, made Emma flinch. Her eyes widened in panic. Emma. Jack grabbed her arm, his grip firm, pulling her toward a shadowed alcove. We need to move, now. Wait. Emma cried, torn between her mother and the pulse of impending danger. But she could see the fear in her mother's eyes, the same fear clawing at her chest. Mom, please. What do you know? I'll explain everything later. Just trust me. Her mother shouted, a note of desperation threading through her words. The footsteps were almost upon them. In that beat, knowing time was slipping away, Emma made a decision. She could choose her mother's unsettling truth over the questions that had haunted her all these years. Okay. Just lead the way. We have to get out of here. No. Her mother yelled, stepping between them and the impending threat. You must go now. Before Emma could argue, her mother lunged toward the entrance, ready to confront the source of the noise. Jack and the man stood frozen, minds racing, caught off guard. Mom, don't. Emma screamed, but it was too late. The silhouette appeared in the doorframe, fierce and looming, blocking any chance of escape. Stop right there. The figure growled, eyes scanning the room, searching for someone. Emma felt a surge of betrayal and mounting fear. Mom, you can't do this. We don't have a choice. Her mother yelled back, and in that moment, everything crystallized, the urgency, the fear, the tangled web of lies. Then, with a fierce determination, her mother turned to Emma. Don't lose hope. I'll find you. Just remember I love you. Always. As the figure moved closer, something primal kicked in. Emma stumbled back, her heart hammering wildly, adrenaline fueling her next steps. And just like that, with fear swirling around them, Emma felt the darkness roar to life. What was the truth behind her mother's disappearance? And who were these people that wanted to silence her? The peril was now real, and with danger closing in, Emma had to decide. Would she chase the answers, or protect herself and those she cared about? As the figure lunged forward, determination ignited within her. Emma took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next. Would she hide, or would she fight for the truth that had eluded her for so long? Emma's mind raced as her mother's silhouette vanished into the shadowy fray. The air electrified with possibility and fear, each heartbeat echoing against the cold, hard walls of the gallery. She felt the strong grip of Jack's hand as he pulled her closer, their bodies an anchor amidst the storm of uncertainty swirling around them. "Go! Now!" her mother shouted, urgency mingling with love, thrusting Emma into a crisis that burned deep within her. "Mom, no!" Emma's voice cracked as she fought her instinct to run back to her mother, to pull her away from danger. But she sensed a resolve in her mother that paralyzed her with respect and fear. This was no ordinary goodbye. Jack leaned closer, his breath quickening. "What do we do, Emma?" He scanned the room, taking in the looming figure slowly advancing toward them, casting a long shadow that creeped ever closer. Just beyond it was the swirling mystery around her mother, a truth fraught with dangers yet to be unveiled. Emma's heart raced. "We need to get out of here and find a safer place to talk," she decided, determination piercing through her uncertainty. The truth they sought was too important, and if they could just grasp hold of it they wouldn't lose more than they already had. "Let us circle around," Jack suggested hurriedly, tugging on her arm. Together, they glided toward a side door, skirting shadows while adrenaline pushed them forward. Emma felt panic rise as they slipped through the door and darted into the back alleyway. The air outside was laden with moisture from the rain that had just passed, their breaths gasping against the refreshing chill. The world felt both serene and chaotic at once. "We can't let him find us," Jack murmured, his body coiled and ready. "What did your mother mean when she said, 'They're coming'?" Emma's mind raced. "I don't have all the answers. But I think there's much more to her story than I ever knew. This mystery runs deep." Suddenly, a noise echoed from behind a crash, followed by hurried footsteps. Her heart dropped. "They found us." Jack gripped her arm gently. "This way." He pulled her to the side of the building, pressing her against the brick wall as the heavy steps approached. They were pinned down, danger loomed, and she could feel it vibrating in the very ground beneath her feet. "Stay quiet," he instructed, eyes darting. They huddled together, hearts pounding in concert, the shadows wrapping them tightly as they attempted to remain unseen. Emma's mind swirled with thoughts of her mother, the weight of family secrets crashing around her like waves. "Emma!" Jack's whisper broke through the chaos. "What if we don't run? What if we turn and confront this?" "What? Are you crazy?" she breathed, shocked by the idea. "Do you think we'll get answers by facing them head-on?" "We might," he said, a glimmer of hope flickering in his eyes, "or at least we'll finally know what we're up against." Emma's heart raced as she meditated on his words. Was running only prolonging the inevitable? She needed those answers about her mother. "Okay, but we need a plan." In that moment of decisive clarity, gripping each other's hands tightly, they exchanged a nod, a pact forged in desperation. As the sound of footsteps faded back into the gallery, Emma inhaled deeply. "Now," she whispered. "Let us go." Cautiously, they emerged from their hiding spot, creeping back toward the entrance of the gallery, where stolen flickers of light glimmered through the glass panels. They moved together silently, adrenaline sharpening their senses, each step blending into a renewed sense of purpose. As they slipped inside, the atmosphere was electrifying, filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Emma could feel the weight of what lay ahead, but she knew she could face it with Jack at her side. "Over here," she pointed toward the main exhibition hall, where her mother had disappeared moments ago. The thrill of possibility surged through Emma as they stepped cautiously deeper into the dim light. "Be ready for anything," Jack said, pressing close as they entered the room. Shadows flickered in the corners, but the gallery held an almost tangible stillness, as if waiting for the truth to be revealed. Then Emma spotted her mother standing there, framed by 1,000 memories, somber yet resolute. The man with the desperate eyes stood close by, tension knitting his features as he peered back toward them. There was no turning back now. "Emma, Jack, there's something you need to hear," her mother spoke, her voice a calm amidst the whirlwind. Emma felt the depth of her words, like the green shoots of life breaking through hard soil. "What is it?" Emma pressed, stepping forward, heart racing with a mix of fear and hope. What have you been hiding? The figure observing them moved closer, urgency lighting his eyes. Your mother was part of something important, and it's about to change everything. Jack glanced at Emma, his expression filled with anticipation. You need to tell her now, he urged. Her mother's gaze softened, and Emma felt time swell around them. Everything has led to this moment, Emma. You need to understand it's about our family. The art, the secrets. It ties us together in ways you can't even imagine. Tell me everything, Emma insisted, eyes narrowing in determination. I'm tired of whispers and shadows. Let us bring the truth out into the light. Her mother exhaled slowly, and the air around them shimmered with potential, as if the gallery had shifted to grant her request. She began to recount the story of a life lived against the backdrop of danger, of secrets protecting more than just their family but an entire legacy intertwined with art, passion, and protection. As the pieces fell into place, Emma realized with each revelation that the weight of the truth could no longer shackle her. In the heart of the gallery, amongst the pulsating remnants of her mother's world, Emma felt the unstoppable force of her spirit rise, ready to meet whatever challenges lay ahead. The gallery held their whispered promises and unbroken secrets, but now, it cradled hope. As her mother's final truths spilled out, Emma understood what once felt like a burden would soon be her beacon of strength. Each memory, each secret, propelled her closer to healing, to reclaiming not just her mother but herself, and as they embraced, shadows dissolved into the brilliance of shared stories. Emma knew that she was ready to confront whatever came next. Together, they'd face the dangers unearthing their past. The gallery might hold lingering shadows, but their hearts were alight with understanding, each moment a step closer to embracing not just their tangled history but building brighter tomorrows side by side. This is the moment. If you felt the energy of this transformation, you need to subscribe now to catch all the exclusive chapters lined up just for you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover this journey. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending because your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation unfold. Let us spread this story together.